The Hoka Tecton X3 features a full Superfoam midsole just like a marathon racer. Could this be a super shoe for the trails? Let's find out. Hello everybody, my name is Casey Atkinson and I'm an 18-year-old runner who reviews shoes here on YouTube. And today we are going to be talking to you all about my first impressions of the Hoka Tecton X3. This is Hoka's main trail racing shoe and also the first trail racing shoe that I've owned, and it is mainly meant for ultra marathons, although I got this shoe for a 33k trail race that I have coming up. With all that said, let's get into the review. As always, we will start off with the specs, then the overview, what my experience was like running in the shoe, and lastly, how I will use the Tecton X moving forward. For the specs, we have 40 mils of stack height in the heel with a 5mm drop giving us 35 mils in the forefoot. It weighs 275 grams or 9.7 ounces, which isn't the lightest trail shoe out there, but for the size of the shoe and the stack height and the outsole that you're getting, I think it is quite respectable. For the overview, we have this textile upper called Matrix. Woven into this upper is a knit construction that extends from the tongue and the heel, which is to act like a gaiter. This is to stop any debris getting into your shoe while out on the trail. The midsole is comprised of 2 layers of full-length PEBA, which is also what you'll find in Hoka's top-of-the-line marathon super shoes. Between the 2 layers is a carbon plate, but this isn't just any carbon plate. There are actually 2 carbon plates which run parallel to each other. I believe this is to allow the shoe to conform to the trail a bit better, and they also have winglets on the sides, which you can see from the outside, which help with stability. On the outsole, we have Vibram's Mega Grip outsole, which has 4mm lugs, and it also has some exposed midsole in order to help save weight. Now onto the main part of the review, what was my first impressions like in the Tecton X3, and I've already gone for a big run in this shoe, 23k's with 1100 meters of elevation, so I've got to know what this shoe is really all about. First impressions is that this feels like a super shoe for the trails. Think of your favorite marathon racing shoe, but with a wider base and a trail outsole. This is what the Tecton is. The combination of the PEBA midsole and the carbon plates make the shoe feel very bouncy, and coupled with the slight rocker makes you feel very fast. This shoe will be very good for all-out racing, but also races like 100-mile ultras. This is because there is a lot of cushion underfoot, but also the foam isn't too soft either. This gives good responsiveness if you want to pick up the pace, but also holds its stability with the firmer feel. I really think the durometer is actually spot on. The foam is soft, but isn't too soft, and the firmer feel comes from the carbon plate sandwiched in between, which also doubles up as a rock plate. I was out there on the trails for almost 3 hours, and the shoe got me through that with no problems, and it also made my legs feel quite good the next day. I like the upper mainly because it is quite minimal and also breathable. I like that they haven't put much padding in the shoe because it gives the shoe that more race-like feel. And also, if you're doing a stream crossing or the trail is wet, the minimal padding also means that the shoe won't hold on to much water. I really like the lockdown through the midfoot, and the knitted tongue works well. At the start of the run, I didn't feel like there was much room in the toe box, but as I went through the run, it started to warm up a bit and conform to my foot, which meant that at the end of the run, the room in the toe box felt fine. There is no structure in the heel, which helps to keep weight down, although this didn't give me the best lockdown. I had to stop a couple of times to relace the shoes in order to dial in their heel's lockdown, although I couldn't get it quite right. I usually use a runner's knot, although on the shoe there is no extra eyelet at the back, so unfortunately I couldn't do that. This meant that throughout the run the laces were slowly getting looser, and it just meant that the heel lockdown wasn't as comfortable as I would have liked. My heel wasn't slipping at all, although it just had a weird feeling, and it will be something that I'll have to dial in my following runs in the shoe. Another thing that I didn't like about the shoe is its ability on technical sections. On my run, I ran on some really tight and rocky technical sections, and the size and the stack height of the shoe didn't work too well. If you're looking for a fast and nimble shoe for technical trails, this is not the shoe I would look for. With that said, the shoe excelled when the trail opened up and became less technical. The Tecton has excellent straight line speed and is its main strength. All the things that make it bad for technical sections make it amazing for straight line and open sections, so you really have to weigh up what you really want from the shoe and what type of trails you're running. The Vibram Mega Grip outsole is honestly phenomenal. I ran on every surface possible and experienced no slipping. Even on rock slabs that were wet and mossy, I had no slipping at all, which was honestly quite amazing. If you're running on a wet trail, it just gives you one less thing to worry about, so very happy here. So onto the last section of the first impressions, which is how I will use the shoe moving forward. And as I said earlier in the video, I have a 33k trail race that I will be doing in this shoe, and I'll also use it for subsequent trail races that I have on the calendar. I will also use this shoe for training for these trail races, specifically for long runs on the trails. The PIBA foam gives great protection and leg saving abilities on the trail, and it just allows me to be out there for a long time. Well, that wraps up my full review of the Hoka Tecton X3. If this video does well, I'll eventually release a full review of the shoe when I've done a few hundred Ks on it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.